Hey guys, so if you want to start a business, then cold calling is really one of the best ways to do that, especially if you want to start an online business. Now, in this video, I'll explain why I personally think this is a great strategy. I'll also explain why I think really everyone who is open to that, why it's a great strategy in general. And once I kind of get you on board on that, and once you feel like maybe it's a good strategy for you and it makes sense for you, also explain some of the how to's, some practical things you can get started today, and just some steps you can take if you want to experiment with starting your own business idea. So let's get into it. So if you haven't heard of cold calling before, real quick, like it's just you call someone up on the phone, and you kind of see if they're interested, if they, if you, what you have to offer, and then you just kind of go for from there, set a meeting, and you try to make a deal from that. Now, usually cold calling is done to business owners because normally you don't have the phone number of everyone in your city, so you don't always know the phone numbers. But for business owners, like you can just look them up on Google Maps, and you can just call them one after the other and see if they're interested in what you have to offer them. So that's real quick what it is. And now why I think it's really a great way to start your business is because you don't need any upfront investment. Like that's one reason, one very important reason. Um, you don't need any upfront investment. So, like, even if you don't have any money, you can just try that and and get started, and you'll start making progress. And if you're, you know, if you're already good at like communication, and you already have like a tangible idea of what you want to do, probably it's not even going to be that difficult to get someone in and get your business started. So for some people, like it's probably like a really easy way just to get the first business in the door. But even for people who are maybe not Mr. Charisma or like Mr. Negotiation or whatever, even for those people, like it's still a great way. Like you just practice and get better at it, and eventually you'll get your first client. And you can just do that without paying any money. You just call them up, and it's a very low risk thing, but it really starts building business skills and sales skills in you. And like those are the skills you're going to need if you want to make money. Now, another reason why I think cold calling is, I mean, that's probably the greatest reason I just explained right there. But another reason I think I prefer it like over like DM setting or sending out mails to business owners or even advertising to some extent, um, is because you're building people skills, right? And you're practicing real communication. It's you're not just sending them some text behind your computer. You're not just some mystical figure that's trying to sell them something that they don't know anything about. No, you're a real person trying to communicate with a real business owner, also a real person, and you're trying to make things happen. And my point is like that's the interaction there, and this is something that you need to, if you improve that part, then that's going to improve a lot of things for you, like not just in your business, also out of your business. But even if you're just looking at things on like a practical business level, let's say you're someone who is like a little bit shy, right? And maybe you prefer to just send messages or send emails. You could also that's not a bad strategy, to be honest. Like in terms of getting clients in, like sometimes it makes a lot of sense. Sometimes it can even be a little bit more efficient than cold calls. But cold calls is definitely the best long-term strategy in terms of you're really building communication skills within yourself. And those skills are going to be more valuable than just learning to send emails to 1,000 random business owners, because you're building resilience within yourself and you're building the skills to negotiate an agreement, and you're also learning or improving like your relationship or like human to human level integrity, or it's all those things together. And that's not just going to help you get your first clients in the door, that's going to build your foundation for having like a really strong business later on. And it's also going to help you in life outside of business. So that's why I think it's a great idea. So right now, maybe if you're like, well, that maybe makes sense, Bert, but how do I actually start this? Well, we could start it right now. Um, Honestly, like right now at this moment when you're watching this, you could just open a tab in your Google Chrome browser. Um, just type in Google Maps, go to Google Maps, search for some businesses in your area, um, and you could literally start just calling them up and seeing if they want to do business with you. Now, I have to say that a caveat because that's maybe a little bit too quick, but you could do it. The thing is, I do recommend having a little bit of an offer first. So think about a little bit about what you actually want to do. So um, you have really two options here. The first option is to go with a well known, safe business model that's going to work as long as you stick with it, right? This is the best way if you don't want to take too much risk and you want something that's guaranteed to work. If you just stick with it, then take this idea. There are several proven business models. You could start a social media marketing agency, you could start an SEO company, you could start even software services for businesses. um, Pick anything that's proven to work. All right. The second option you have is you can start a business from just an idea of, hey, I'd like to try this. I'd like to help people with this, and I'd like to try this. But there is a caveat here. The caveat is you need to think about the market. So it can't just be something that you want. It has to be also something that the market wants, and more specific, the market you are selling to wants. So when we're cold calling business owners. So you need to think of something that business owners want or need. Um, so the way you can kind of find a compromise there, or maybe compromise is not the best word, but it sort of is you just kind of see what you want, what the market wants, and you try to find like the overlap there. What is the part of that? Where does it come together? Where can you find things that both you want and also that the market might want? That's your zone of genius, and that's what you want to offer them, right? So if you want to go that way, think about that. Also realize that you're going to be taking a little bit more risk than if you were to go with a proven business model. But if you're like, hey, I really want to follow my ideas and my feeling, then that might be the right path to go for you. Um, Now, that said, That's really all you need. So think about this. I would recommend thinking about this for maybe, at least 5 minutes, at most, a day, really at maximum a day, and then just start calling. All right, because you want to have an idea, you want to have a strategy, but right now it's more important that you focus on the execution, actually doing it. Because the strategy is going to adjust itself, and it's going to become more clear by doing it. If you call up those people and you ask them, hey, I have this idea, could this help you? You're going to get feedback. And then through doing, you learn, you can refine your offer, you learn what people want, what they don't want, you learn more maybe what you can do and what you want. And then you can keep refining that. And eventually, if you call them enough, you're going to get someone that wants to do a meeting with you. And if you stick to it, you're going to get someone that becomes your first client. And that's how you start a business.